Hello friends, in this session we are going to solve the questions from simple interest and compound interest. So I request you to go through first the theory video and then solve this so that you understand it better. Let us start with the questions. It says the simple interest on sum of money for 15 months at the rate of 7.5% per annum exceed the simple interest on same sum at 12.5% per annum for 8 months by 3250. Find the sum. So you can just use the formula to solve this question. That is simple interest is equal to P into N into R upon 100. In the first case, let's say the principal is X. So when you invested X rupees for 15 months, now you have to convert these months into year because in our formula, the N stands for number of years. So 15 months would mean 15 by 12 years. And similarly, 8 months would mean 8 by 12 number of years. So in the first case, the principal is X. So principal into number of years into rate of interest upon 100 is what the interest is going to be. Let's call this interest 1. And in the second case, principal is again same X into number of years is 8 by 12 into rate of interest is 12.5 and divided by 100. That is going to be interest in second case. They are saying the difference between these two is 3250. So just make the equation out of it and then solve for X. The value of X is going to be 312,000. It is formula based question. Yes, calculation is required, but it's not that difficult. Let's see the next one. Ravi invested rupees 18,000 in scheme A, which offers 15% per annum simple interest, and rupees 15,000 in scheme B, which offers 18% per annum at compound interest. Find the difference between the interest earned from these two schemes after 2 years. So you know scheme A, it has principal is equal to 18,000. Rate of interest is 15% per annum and it is invested under simple interest and number of years are 2 years. So what is the total simple interest earned? So interest is PNR upon 100. So if you want, you can use the formula P into N into R upon 100 and that is going to be 5400. Or you can just use the concept that we just saw. In case of simple interest, if the rate of interest is 15% per annum and if you are investing for 2 years, that means for 2 years you are going to get 15% per year on your 18,000 as the interest. So 15% for 2 years makes it 30% of 18,000 because the principal is constant in simple interest. So 15% base, that is 18,000, is going to be same in both years. So you can just add the percentage like this. So 15% for 2 years is 30%. So 30% of 18,000 you can directly say is 5400. In case of scheme B, the principal is 15,000. Rate of interest is 18% per annum at compound interest. And the number of years are 2 years again. Here we can't obviously do that because it is compound interest. But what we do in case of compound interest is, we know one property that compound interest increases by R% every year. So rather than using the formula to calculate the amount in case of compound interest and then calculating compound interest, what we can do is, we can just calculate the first year compound interest and we can increase it by R% to calculate the next years. So first year compound interest, if I ask you what is the first year compound interest, all you have to do is take this principal and calculate its 18%. And that will be first year compound interest, because first year compound interest is exactly like the simple interest. You just have to calculate R percent of P. So 15,000's 18% if you calculate, that is going to be 2,700. So first year compound interest is going to be 2,700. For second year compound interest, all you have to do is you have to increase it with R percent, that is 18%. So 2,700 plus 2,700's 18% is what going to be second year compound interest. Now you are asked what is the difference between the total simple interest here and total compound interest for 2 years here. So for first year the compound interest was 2,700. For second year it is going to be 2,700 plus 2,700 into 18 upon 100. So this 0 will get cancelled, and because this also constitute 5,400, so the difference between these two is going to be this extra portion, which is 27 into 18. And if you just do this product here, the answer is going to be 486. 486 is the answer to this question. Let's see the next one. Ratio of the difference between CI and SI for 3 years to difference between CI and SI for 2 years is 25:8. Find the rate of interest per annum. Now this is the typical question in few exams where you have to use the formula upfront. You know the difference between SI CI for 3 years is 3 times P into R upon 100 whole square plus P into R upon 100 whole cube. And difference for 2 years is P into R upon 100 whole square. You are asked the difference between these two. Ratio between these two you are given. So difference between 3 years and difference between 2 years, which is 3 times P into R upon 100 whole square plus P into R upon 100 whole cube upon P times R upon 100 whole square. This ratio is 25/8. Now it might seem little lengthy. It is not at all. It is very simple to do this calculation, because the P will get eliminated throughout from all the terms. Not only that, R by 100 square also will get eliminated from all the terms. It has R by 100 whole square, it has R by 100 whole square, it has R by 100 whole cube. So out of the power 3, the power 2 will go and only power 1 will remain. So what remains is, from the first term 3, and for the second term R upon 100 from the numerator. And there is no denominator, so we say that is 1. And that should be equal to 25/8. Now easily if you send 3 that side and then do subtraction, you will have R upon 100 is equal to 1/8, and hence R will be 100/8, that is 12.5% per annum. So very easily the rate of interest is 12.5%. I hope you found it easy. Let's see one more. It says the difference between simple interest and compound interest compounded annually on certain sum of money for 2 years at 8% per annum is 96. What is the sum? So friends, if you try to use the formula to solve this question, it will be unnecessarily lengthy. And let's see first to solve this with the help of formula, so that we feel that pain to go through the long process, and then we'll see the shortest way to solve this type of question. Let's see. It says the difference between simple interest and compound interest compounded annually on certain sum of money for 2 years at 8% per annum is 96. What is the sum? So if we say the sum, that is principal, is X, number of years are 2, and rate of interest is 8% per annum. So in case of simple interest, we are going to get P into N into R upon 100. And in case of compound interest, we are going to get the amount as P into 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power number of years, that is 2. But this is the amount. We have to subtract principal from it, which is X, because the difference between interests are given. So you'll have to subtract the principal from the amount. So amount minus principal is going to give us the interest. They are saying the difference between these two. So obviously compound interest is more than simple interest. So we'll subtract simple interest from compound interest. And that difference we have to equate with 96. Now because there is only one variable, we can solve that and then we can get the answer. But as I said, this is going to be literally really lengthy and unnecessary if we understand what the difference created is the interest upon interest, because in compound interest we get the interest upon interest. So if our principal is X, in the first year we are going to get 8% of it or R% of it as the simple interest also and compound interest also. So in the first year we are going to get this much interest in both cases, but in the second year we are going to get 8% of this extra, 8% of this, because this money now accumulated in our account in both cases. But in simple interest we are not going to get anything on this, but in compound interest we are going to get 8% of this as the interest as well. So we are going to get 8% of this as the extra interest in case of compound interest, and that is what creates the difference. And hence we have the formula for difference between SICI for 2 years as principal into R upon 100 2 times, that is R upon 100 whole square. So this is how the formula is created. We can use the formula directly. So that is given as 96. The difference is given as 96. You can just easily solve this to calculate the value of X, which is the principal, and that will come out to be 15,000. Very easily you can do that. The answer is going to be 15,000. Let's see the next one. Difference between compound interest and simple interest on sum for 2 years at 8% per annum, where the interest is compounded annually, is rupees 16. If the interest were compounded half yearly, the difference in two interest would be nearly. Friends, again same thing. If you try to solve this with just the formula and without understanding the concept, this question is also very painful to solve then, because then you will have to do lots of calculation. So first we'll see it by the formula way, and then we'll see the shortest way. Difference between compound interest and simple interest on a sum for 2 years at 8% per annum, where compounded annually, the difference is 16. So again we can say the principal is X, rate of interest is 8% per annum, and number of years are 2. So the simple interest we'll get is P into N into R upon 100, and the compound interest we'll get is P times of 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power number of years, that is 2. But we'll have to subtract principal from it, because this is the formula for amount. So amount minus principal will give us the interest. Now difference between these two is given as 16. So using this difference, we'll solve the value of X, and then we'll use that X to calculate the compound interest when compounding is done semi-annually, and then we'll solve for the difference between SI and CI. So we'll have to calculate the SI first, and then compound interest compounding half yearly. But that is going to be really lengthy, friends, right? So what we do instead is we consider the simple interest and compound interest for first year and for second year. For first year, let's say simple interest is 100x. So simple interest is same every year. So for second year also, the simple interest will be 100x. For first year, simple interest and compound interest are equal. So for first year, we can say the compound interest is 100x and the compound interest increases by r% every year. So for the second year, it is going to be increased by 8% and hence will become 108x. Now the difference between 2 years, because simple interest is 200x for 2 years and compound interest is 208x for 2 years, the difference created being 8x is given as 16. So x will be equal to 2. Now if you put x is equal to 2, here the total simple interest accumulated is 400. And now if you put x is equal to 2 here, so you will realize for the first year compound interest accumulated was 200. But now if compounding is done semi-annually, so if compounding is done semi-annually, for first year or for 1 year if you are getting 200, so for first half year we'll be getting half of it, that is 100 rupees as the interest. And rate of interest we'll have to consider now as 4% per half annum or per cycle, because 8% is for entire year, 8% per annum. So if we are getting for first half year 100 rupees, so for second half year we'll have 4% more, because the rate of interest is 4% per half annum. And in case of compound interest, your interest increases by r% every year, or in this case 4% per half year, because our cycle is half year. So if you increase it with 4%, it is approximately 104. No, it is exactly 104, but now if you increase it with 4% for the third half year, then it is going to be again 104 point something. Don't consider the point something. It is going to be basically 104 point, the 4% of it is 1.6. So 104 plus 4% of this, which is 4.16. So it is going to be 108.16. And for the fourth half year, we have to increase this with 4%. The 1% of it is going to be 1.08. And if we increase it with 4%, so 4% is going to be again 4 point something. So it is now going to become 112 approximately. So the overall difference created is going to be above 100 we are having 4 here, above 100 we are having 8 here, and above 100 we are having 12 here. So approximately 24 difference is created, because 400 we are anyways getting here. So above 400 we are having approximately 24, and that is why the difference created will be 24.64 according to the options. So that is what I am trying to say. You don't have to calculate actual values, you can just go approximately. So if you increase 4 here, so 4 more and 4 more, so 4, 8 and 12 extra will get as compared to the previous case. Got this? Let's see one more. Now this is the question that they ask in RBI Grade B. Ram invested rupees P in scheme A and rupees 2P in scheme B for 2 years each. Scheme A offers simple interest per annum. Scheme B offers compound interest at the rate of 10% per annum. The ratio between the interest earned from scheme A and that earned from scheme B was 8:21. Rate of interest offered by scheme A is the first, and rate of interest offered by scheme C when rupees 1600 is invested for 3 years earn at interest of 384 is the quantity second. We have to compare these quantities. Now there is scheme A and then scheme B. Ram invested rupees P here, this is the principal here, and the principal here is 2P. Here also for 2 years and here also for 2 years. Scheme A under simple interest and scheme B under compound interest at the rate of 10% per annum. Sorry, this is not given. Scheme B offers compound interest at the rate of 10% per annum. The ratio between the interest earned from scheme A. So we can just first consider the principal here as 100x. So this now will become 200x. Here we are going to get 10% interest. So 200x is 10% for first year. The compound interest is going to be 200x is 10%, that is 20x. And you know, compound interest increases by r% every year. So if we are getting 20x in the first year, for the second year, it is going to be 10% more. That is 21x. Sorry, 22x. So altogether, we are going to get 42x as the compound interest. They are saying the ratio earned between the simple interest here and compound interest here is 8:21. So if this 21 is getting 42x, the 8 will become 16x. To maintain the ratio, obviously, if 21 is getting 2 times, 8 will also get 2 times. So if 16x we are earning in 2 years, so per year we earn 8x rupees per year. So if per year we are getting 8x rupees on 100x, that means the rate of interest is 8% per annum, because we are getting 8x upon 100x per year. So rate of interest is 8% per annum. So quantity 1 is going to be 8%. Now quantity 2, rate of interest offered by scheme C when this is invested for 3 years earns 384. So you can use the formula here. In case of quantity 2, we can just use the formula that simple interest is equal to P and R upon 100. So simple interest is given as 384 is equal to principal into number of years into rate of interest upon 100. This is 16's 2 times and 16's 4 times. So R will be 8%. So quantity 2 also 8%, quantity 1 is also 8%. And hence the answer is going to be quantity 1 is equal to quantity 2. Got this? Let's see one more. An equal sum is invested for 6 years in scheme A offering simple interest at 8x% per annum, and in scheme B for 2 years offering compound interest at 10% per annum compounded annually. The interest earned from scheme A is double the interest earned from scheme B. Had the rate of interest been x plus 2% simple interest per annum in scheme A, the difference in the interest earned from both the schemes would have been 3960. What was the sum invested in each of the schemes? So again, similar type of question, scheme A, scheme B. In scheme A and scheme B, both same amount is being invested. So if I say investment here is 100y, here also the principal is going to be 100y. In scheme B, we are investing for 2 years and the rate of interest is 10% per annum and it is compound interest. So we can first calculate the compound interest we get here. So first year compound interest and then second year compound interest. First year compound interest will be 10% of the principal. So 100y is 10% is 10y. And second year compound interest is going to be 10% more as compared to this, that is 11y. So together the compound interest is going to be 21y. Here we are going to get 2 times of it, because it says the interest earned in scheme A is double the interest earned from scheme B. So we are going to get 42y here. And for how many years? We are investing here for 6 years. So in 6 years, if we are getting 42y, so per year we are going to get 42y upon 6, that is 7y. So we are getting 7y interest per year. So if we are getting 7y on 100y per year, so it is how much percent of 100? 7y is 7% of 100. That means the rate of interest is 7% per annum under simple interest. Now they say if rate of interest is increased by 2%. So now if rate of interest becomes 7 plus 2, that is 9% per annum, the difference in the interest earned from both schemes would have been now 3960. So for 6 years, we are going to get 9 into 6, 54% of our principal, that is 54y. So 54y would be the simple interest then. They are saying the difference between new simple interest and the compound interest, which is 21y. The difference here is 33y, is said 3960. So the value of y will be 120. They are asking what is the sum invested. So they are asking the value of P. So just put y is equal to 120 here, and the complete principal will be 12,000. So you can get the type of the questions that they ask in RBI Grade B. The questions will be mostly comparison based. So scheme A, scheme B type of question you are expecting. Let's see this one. Man invested rupees X and rupees 2X at 15% simple interest and 8% compound interest, compounded annually for 2 years respectively. Difference between simple interest and compound interest received after 2 years is 820. Find the value of X. So first investment, let's call it again scheme A, scheme B. Here we are investing rupees X. In case scheme B, we are then investing the double of it. So if we say the principal here is 100y, the principal here is going to be double, that is 200y. Here the rate of interest is 15% per annum under simple interest. Here the rate of interest is 8% per annum under compound interest. This is for 2 years and this is also for 2 years. Here the interest earned is going to be 15% for 2 years, means total 30%. In case of simple interest, you can do this because the base remains constant. So 30% of 100y is 30y is what the interest earned. In this case, we have to go year by year. First year compound interest and then second year compound interest. First year compound interest is going to be 8% of the principal, that is 8% of 200, means 16y. In case of second year, we have to increase it with 8% because compound interest increases by r% every year. So 8% of 16 is 1.28. So here we are going to get 1.28 more. That is 33.28y. They are saying the difference between CI and SI, which is now 3.28y, that difference is given as 820. We can calculate the value of y from here. And that is going to be 250. So just put that 250 here, because this is the investment that was X. X was the investment done in scheme A. So just put y is equal to 250 here. The value of X is going to be 250 into 100, that is 25,000. Easy. Let's see one more. 1500 rupees is invested in scheme A at R% per annum simple interest. So scheme A and scheme B. Here we are investing 1500 rupees at R% per annum under simple interest. Another amount which is 1500 minus X. Let's call this 100Y, because in terms of 100 we can deal it easily. Here the rate of interest is 2% per annum under simple interest. After 4 years, the difference is given, or the quantities are given. So here also if we invest for 4 years and here also invest for 4 years, what is the interest accumulated will be 4 times of R% here, or we can just use the formula P into N into R upon 100 is the simple interest we earn, that is 60R. Here again if you use the formula P principal into number of years into rate of interest upon 100 is the interest earned, that is going to be 100 cancel, 8 times of R into Y. They are saying this quantity is 25% less than this quantity. 25% less means this quantity is 75% of this quantity. So 8 times of R into Y's 75% should be equal to 60R. So RR can get cancelled like this. This is going to be 3 by 4. So 8Y's 3 by 4 should be equal to 60. That gets us 6Y is equal to 60. So Y will be equal to 10. If Y is 10, if put it here, it becomes 1000. So 1500 minus X if 1000, the X is going to be 500. The answer will be 500. Easy. Let's see one more. If sum of investment of A in both schemes and total profit obtained by A from both schemes is invested at compound interest. Okay, this must be some question from a data interpretation set, or obviously some part is missing in this question. Sorry about this. Let's say this one. If 1800 is given at 20% per annum simple interest, while rupees 1800 minus P is given at 30% per annum compound interest, if the difference between both interest at the end of 2 years is 315, find P. Again, let's call it scheme A, scheme B. Here 1800 is the principal. Rate of interest is 20% per annum under simple interest. And here the principal is 1800 minus P, and rate of interest is 30% per annum under compound interest. The difference is given is 350. So here we'll have to calculate number of years is 2 years and number of years is 2 years. Here we'll calculate the simple interest very easily. It will be 20 into 2, 40% of 1800, that is going to be 720 rupees. In case of compound interest, we have to calculate the first year compound interest. So what I'll do is, I'll consider this as 100x. So on 100x, first year compound interest is going to be 30% of this, that is 30x. And second year compound interest is, we have to increase this with r percent per annum. R is 30%. So if we increase it with 30%, 30% of 30 is 9x. So we'll increase it with 9x, it will become 39x. And hence, together, both years compound interest is 69x. The difference between these two is given as 315. So 69x minus 720 is given as 315. So 69x will be equal to 1035. That gets us x is equal to 69's 1 times and 69's 5 times. X will be equal to 15. If you put x is equal to 15 here, that is going to be 1500. Now 1500 is 1800 minus p. That gets the p as 300. The value of p will be 300. I hope you got this. Let's see one more. A man invested a sum at certain rate of interest on simple interest and he got 60% more amount after 8 years. If he invests 9600 at the same rate of interest on simple interest, then find the total interest he would get after 4 years. So if you are getting 60% more amount, that means if my principal is 100x, the amount we are getting is 60% more. That means 160x. And that means the interest or simple interest we got is 60x. Interest is what? Interest is amount minus principal. So this is the interest. So just use the formula that simple interest is equal to P into N. Number of years is 8 years. Into R, that we have to calculate upon 100, and that should be equal to 60x. So xx will get cancelled, 100 will get cancelled. That gets us R is equal to 60 upon 8, 7.5% per annum. Now with the same rate of interest, if we invest 9600 for 4 years, they are asking what is the interest. So again we can use the formula. Simple interest is P into number of years into rate of interest upon 100. So 0 can get cancelled. So this is going to be 96 into 30. So the answer will be 2880. I think it is a simple formula based question and it is easy. A man invested a certain sum in scheme A for 15% per annum for 2 years and earned rupees 1950 as the simple interest. So we can just use the formula here. Let's say the sum is X, rate of interest is 15% per annum and number of years are 2 years, and he is invested under simple interest, and the simple interest accumulated is 1950. So we can use formula that is simple interest is equal to principal into number of years into rate of interest upon 100. So that will get the value of X as 6500. He increases sum by X. So now the sum in scheme B is going to be different. So let's call that as 100Y. Okay, don't get confused with this X and our X. Our X is different. we actually used our x to calculate this. So now you can let go this part. You can just focus on what was the investment, and it was 6500. We increased it with capital X. We can say this is the capital X, and now we are investing 100y in scheme B. Here the rate of interest is 10% per annum under compound interest, and number of years are 2 years. And if we are receiving 1680, so you know, first year compound interest is going to be 10% of this principal, which is 10y, and for second year we just have to increase it with r percent, which is 10%, and it will now become 11y. So together we are getting 21y as the interest, which is given as 1680. So clearly the value of y is going to be 80. So here we are investing 80 into 100, that is 8000. So they are asking how much more we are investing, or what is the value of x. So as compared to 6500, now if we are investing 8000, that means we are investing 1500 more. So hence the answer is 1500. Let's see one more. A invest on some scheme at 5% and B at 3% for 2 years. If the total sum invested is 4000 and the simple interest received by both is same, then find the amount invested by A. So 4000, out of 4000, let's say A is investing X or 100x we can say, and B is investing say 100y. Now A is getting 5% for 2 years, that means 10%. So on 100x, if we are getting 10%, so the interest will be 100x's 10%, that is 10x. So A is going to receive 10x as the interest. Similarly, B is going to receive 3% for 2 years, means 6%. So 100y is 6%, that is going to be 6y. They are saying this and this both are equal because the interest earned by both is same. So if 10x is equal to 6y, then we can say x upon y is 6 upon 10 or 3 upon 5. The ratio between x and y is the same as the 100x and 100y. That means we are investing under A and B in the ratio 3:5. So we just have to divide 4000 in the ratio 3:5 to calculate the investment done in A and investment done in B. So 3 plus 5 is 8, and it is getting 500 times. So this will also get 500 times, and this will also get 500 times. That means under scheme A, we are investing 1500 rupees.